Strategies for Developing Listening and Speaking Skills by Maria Alejandra Alvarado. Resource presentation. This virtual information object shows different strategies that people should take into account in order to improve their listening and speaking skills. Resource objectives. The first one is to give different tips to design listening activity for online language and face-to-face environment. The second one is to show some recommendations to design speaking activities for face-to-face and online environments. Listening material. Listening as a receptive skill is considered the oral skill, which is the primary ability developed in first language acquisition. So why listening is so important? Because it's the key to all the effective communication. Without this ability, we will probably misunderstand a messenger or a piece of information. It's necessary to clarify that there are different types of listening practices. So in listening material for face-to-face environment, I'm going to be focused on the interactive listening because this refers to a conversation between a listener and a speaker, and this encourages the interaction among learners. So there are 5 activities. The first one is listening short speeches. The second one is asking questions. The third one is giving commands. The next one is seeking clarification. And the last one is checking comprehension. So in listening material for face-to-face environments, when we are talking about giving commands, the student should follow some instructions. For example, in this case, we have an example of the activity Simon Says. So someone have to say or give the command, Simon says, raise your hand, and everybody has to do the same. So asking question, as I said, asking question is one of the activity for listening material, and this is really important because this encourages a student to listening and speak about their self. So in this case, people should ask question, WH question, because this question help to give or receive more information about somebody. So in seeking for clarification, we can use the activity minimal pairs. Why minimal pairs? Because in this activity, we are going to make a comparison between 2 words. For example, in this case, we have the word shell, that is an object, and cell, that is an activity. So when a student listen, those objects, those minimal pairs, they are going to learn how to pronounce words correctly. So listening material for online environments. In this part, we should ask for certain facts and events, location, situation, context, etc. Watching movies is a good option, listening to radio programs, listening to songs, listening to interviews and lectures. So there are some websites that are really useful. For example, British Council. This page is divided in different branches, for example, for teens, for kids, and for adults. Cambridge Assignment English is another website that have a lot of information and a lot of listening exercise. Reading Training is an application when people can choose any song and listening a song while they are reading the lyric. Well, here we have the speaking material for face-to-face environment. In this case, we have 5 activities. The number 1 is I would rather, and it's a good option because in this case, we are going to listen to the students which one they prefer and why, if they have to choose between 2 options. So the telephone is an activity when someone gives a piece of information and another person has to reply the same information. Play is an activity which a student can work in pairs, in group, and charade is another activity when they have to guess which object they are doing by mimic. So there is someone who is doing a mimic and the group of the students have to guess what is the object, what is the animal, etc. Question chain. This activity is when someone asks a basic question, for example, how are you? And someone reply, I'm 16 years old, and that person who receives the information has to ask the same question to another one. This theory is a good option because help to be more confident. Speaking material for online environments. The first one we have making up stories. They can invent any story, discussion or debate, presentation of short authentic dialogues, giving speeches and improvising dialogues. Conclusion. The theory could be adapted to different situations. These theories stimulate students to think and to be involved emotionally. These theories encourage students to use grammar and vocabulary. By listening and speaking, students improve their communication abilities. This is a reference